The most expensive mistake you can make in the modern economy is bringing emotions to a math problem. From the day you sign your contract, the system conditions you to believe in a beautiful lie called corporate loyalty. They give you a plastic plaque, a hollow title change, and a handshake, all while keeping your paycheck exactly where it serves their margins. But here is the cold reality. Loyalty is not a virtue. It is a financial discount you are giving to an organization that would replace you in 48 hours if their profits dropped by 1%. The elite 1% does not sign blood oaths with corporations. They treat every position as a temporary tactical alliance. It is time to stop being a faithful servant and start becoming a sovereign asset. When you choose to remain inside the same corporate ecosystem year after year, believing your dedication will be rewarded, you are voluntarily accepting the loyalty discount. The internal data is clear. The modern economic structure is designed to penalize longevity. While inflation spikes and the external market rate for your specific skill set skyrockets, internal raise structures are capped by bureaucratic percentages that barely cover living costs. By staying static, you allow your compound value to erode under the guise of security. The system capitalizes on your comfort, knowing that an employee who doesn't look outside is an asset they can underpay without consequence. Your multi-year dedication is not seen as an admirable virtue. It is factored into their substambe. It is financial discount you are willingly granting them. This compounding stagnation quietly destroys your lifetime earning potential, setting the stage for a much deeper psychological trap. To keep you compliant while your financial value is being heavily discounted, organizations deploy a highly calculated mechanism known as the plastic trophy illusion. Because corporations know they cannot satisfy your raw ambition with stagnant wages, they substitute financial compensation with emotional validation. They present you with cheap, symbolic rewards, employee of the month plaques, hollow title changes, and public shoutouts on internal networks. This is a sophisticated psychological trap designed to exploit your natural human desire for belonging and recognition. When you internalize this corporate praise, your brain treats it as a substitute for actual leverage, conditioning you to work harder for applause rather than equity. Elite masters see right through this theatrical validation. They understand that applause does not pay for sovereignty, and a fancier title on a business walk is simply a heavier gold chain binding you to a sinking ship driven by cold mathematical realities. The moment you strip away that emotional theater, you are forced to confront the harsh architectural mechanics of the replacement matrix. Despite the inspiring cultural manifestos and the comfortable family-like rhetoric preached by human resources, a corporation is fundamentally an automated math problem. In the eyes of upper management and board members, your unique execution power, your late nights and your sacrifices are reduced to a single line item on a spreadsheet. The system is engineered with absolute redundancy, meaning your position is constantly mapped against an external market of cheaper, hungry alternatives. If the operational metrics demand it, or if your department's profit margins slip by a fraction of a %, the corporate machine will execute your deletion without a shred of hesitation. Recognizing this systemic coldness is not a call to despair. It is the ultimate liberating realization that breaks your emotional conditioning. Once you accept that you are entirely replaceable within their matrix, you can finally reclaim your power by adopting a posture of transactional sovereignty. This profound psychological shift requires you to permanently sever all emotional attachment to the company and view the relationship through a lens of raw utility. You stop viewing the organization as a protector and start treating it strictly as a client. Every hour of your focus, every strategic insight, and every operational victory is traded with cold precision for specific assets. Premium capital, unreliable skills, or high-status leverage. You operate with absolute professional excellence, not out of a submissive desire to please a master, but because high performance maximizes your current transactional value. By matching the system's mathematical indifference with your own calculated detachment, you transition from a dependent servant to an autonomous contractor operating entirely on your own terms. By establishing this cold transactional sovereignty, you gain the clarity required to stop offering your talents freely, and instead implement a strategy of manufactured scarcity. The average employee makes themselves endlessly available, over-delivering without leverage and wondering why they are constantly overlooked. The elite professional, however, understands that value is driven entirely by supply and demand. You carefully restrict access to your highest level execution power, making it undeniably clear that your specific expertise cannot be easily found or replicated in the open market. You don't beg for a seat at the table. You build a specialized skill set so distinct and critical to operational success that your absence would create an immediate systemic crisis. When you deliberately cultivate this aura of scarcity, you shift the power dynamic of the entire ecosystem. You are no longer a passive applicant hoping an HR department selects your resume. Instead, you become the high-value asset that competing entities are forced to bid for. The market must adapt to your terms, your pricing, and your timeline, transforming your daily work from a desperate struggle for survival into a high-stakes auction where you hold all the leverage. This intense market demand ultimately culminates in the flawless execution of the exit protocol, the final and most critical phase of your professional liberation. While the conditioned masses remain paralyzed by fear, clinging to the false safety of a familiar routine, the sovereign master recognizes when a specific environment has been fully drained of its educational and financial utility. You do not wait for stagnation to set in, nor do you leave in a reactive burst of emotional frustration. Instead, you orchestrate a high-status strategic leap that catches the system completely off guard. You quietly build your scaffolding behind the scenes, aligning your next move with calculated precision, and when the timing is perfect, you step cleanly off the corporate ladder onto a significantly higher platform of power. This leap is not just a change of scenery. It is a mathematical acceleration that forces an immediate, massive reset of your net worth and authority. Because you refuse to give a multi-year discount to any single organization, your career trajectory becomes a steep, unbroken upward line of vertical jumps. You leave behind the fragile, sentimental illusions of loyalty to the slow-motion crowd below, who are still waiting in lines for permission that will never come. By mastering the exit protocol, you permanently solidify your domain as a self-contained monolith, proving once and for all that true security is never given by a company, it is seized through your own relentless audacity